Shalom, party people, and welcome to the 12th Sea. If you've been wanting to access the Abomination Spreadsheet but have just not figured out how to do it, go to the video description of any of the videos in my Abomination playlist. Click on the link for the Google Doc. Once you've done that and it loads, it will take you to a spreadsheet. You can use it in the form that it appears right here, and everything does work. However, if you happen to download the Google Sheets app, which I highly recommend doing, it's free. It'll open up into a spreadsheet format through Google Sheets. You'll find, and I've rotated this spreadsheet just a little bit so that way hopefully you guys have a bigger screen here, that there are a few different sheets in this spreadsheet. There's a color sort, a Hebrew sort, a Greek sort, and a raw data color code. Starting with the color sort, this has broken up all of my references into several different color-coded categories. You have the miscellaneous category, and this one basically is just stuff that didn't really fit anywhere else. Now, there are references that do have multiple categories that they fit into, but there's just something about them in the passage that you can read where it's just like, this is just a little bit different. It doesn't necessarily fit into the rest of these categories. We've got improper worship, and that is color-coded orange. You will also find that these improper ones have other colors that are lined up for it. It's just part of it. But when people are participating in improper worship, it a lot of times is called an abomination. Sometimes it had another word that was attested to it, but all in all, it fell in. The green is diet. So something that in the diet was either unclean or called an abomination fell in there. The next category is any kind of sexual immorality, and it's color coded purple. From there, we also have idolatry, and that is going to be a red. You'll find that there's actually quite a lot of crossover between sexual immorality and the idolatry. It's a very interesting theme in Scripture, and there will be other videos where we go deep into that. Past there, we have a small category talking about weights and measures, and that's going to be in a dark blue. And then we have character actions. Those character actions, it's really more of somebody's character, like their actions that they are doing, the things that they do, also the action in and of itself that that person is doing is sometimes called an abomination or unclean or detestable or something to that effect. In short, those categories do break everything down. You'll notice when we zoom in these columns, King James, Scriptures, and ESV, some of them, if it is an abomination word, it's going to be highlighted in blue. In the B column, sometimes the chapter is going to be highlighted in blue as well, but then there will be no blue highlight in the King James Scriptures or ESV columns. If it is highlighted blue in the chapter, it means that in that same chapter, there is a discussion about the word being, there's a discussion in there about it being an abomination in some way. Something connected in that chapter, there are abominations there. Whereas if the word itself is highlighted blue, then obviously it is an abomination. And that's just for quick reference, especially when you're looking at the chart. It makes it like, oh, okay, yeah, here's some abominations here, but it's not an abomination in ESV, but it is in the Scriptures and in King James Version, so we know that that's squared away there. This format of color coding is the same on all four of these sheets. The color sort just makes life a little bit easier when we want to know, okay, are we talking about improper worship here? Are we talking about something having to do with diet here? Are we talking about something having to do with, sexual immorality. And like I said, a lot of these are going to have some level of crossover in between each different category. So that is something we'd like to track. Jumping over to the Hebrew sort, just to explain this one a little bit better. Most of it has to do with column G. These are sorted specifically due to the Hebrew word that is used in the translation. They're all categorized so that way it's really, really easy to find what's going on. Words like Strong's H877 are, typical. We'll see that a lot. We get into something like H8581. That one is, will pop up a good little bit. Here's one, probably the most common one that you'll see called an abomination, H8441. That is the outright most common use abomination word in King James ESV and the scriptures. Just a lot of these references that you'll find there. It makes life really easy when we want to know, okay, hey, we have an H8441. It's being used in these contexts. Like here we have a dietary use of it. Like here we have some sexual immorality uses of it. Here we have a idol worship use of it. Seeing all the crossover of this exact same word, this really, really does help break down, okay, we know here's the reference, here's the context that it can be used in. And that just makes life a little bit easier to deal with. Greek sort, same thing, it's just column H instead of column G that's sorted. You get words like G1497, and you see all the different Hebrew iterations that Greek word has associated with it. Just good crossover. We can get even deeper, G153, and so on. And don't forget that I do have a playlist of all of the Greek and Hebrew words that are translated as abomination. This just really, really helps in knowing what we're dealing with. And they're all YouTube shorts, just dealing with Strong's Concordance references on all of these. Getting into, G169, that one's real common. Here's move into the G458, you'll see that in plenty of places. 459, 946, you'll see this one a lot. See here's some crossover, 8441, 2931, 8263. So a lot of times it will use the same Greek word for several different Hebrew words, and that just plays into a couple different things that we're dealing with. Last one I wanted to show you guys, this is the raw data color code. Just easy sorting here. This is specific to Genesis through Revelation sorting. That way, if you want to know in biblical order when and where all of these pop up, it's like, hey, I want to know what Leviticus has to say about this. Hey, I want to know, what Ezra has to say about this. Hey, I want to know all of the references in Isaiah. You can pull them up and you can just see how an individual book is going to use a word that could be translated as abomination. That just makes life so much easier for being able to navigate this. This spreadsheet is available in every single one of my abomination video descriptions, and in the YouTube shorts, it's going to be in the pinned comment at the top of each one of them, just so that way you guys have access to it. This is a free resource that I want you guys to be able to use. It was a labor of love, and I just hope that you guys get use and knowledge and learning out of all of this. If you see any mistakes in it, just holler at me via the comment section. Let me know, hey, on this sheet, this line, you used this reference and it actually should be this one, and I'll double check my work. I really appreciate you guys keeping me on my toes in all of this, but I hope this labor of love can benefit you in some way. Good, hard things.